Hello, I'm here again. Good evening. Welcome, welcome to Connect Africa. So let me know if I am audible. Give me thumbs up, okay? Please tell me you can hear me. Okay, good then. Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, so as you know, we have been here at Connect Africa. We have been bringing you information and updates what's happening in Niger day by day. So for us, this is day 10, update on Niger. The topic that I chose for today is the hypocrisy of those who are in President Bola Tinubu's camp in ECOWAS. Yeah, I call it Bola Tinubu's camp because right now what's happening in Niger is led by the president of Nigeria, meaning President Tinubu, and all of them are following him. I mean, why Nigeria is so desperate to do this again and again. I have said it's a topic by itself. There are things that have been thrown by analysts, but I'm not going to go to that because my interest for today is how all this, there is a similarity between all these heads of states who have joined Bola Tinubu and said they are going to send military intervention to Niger. Now, as you know, ECOWAS, the economic community of West African state is kind of cracking when it comes to the issue of Niger. We have the one, on one side, we have those who really have said no to the continued French colonization, neo-colonization in Western Africa. And on the other hand, which are these countries are Mali, Burkina Faso, and maybe Guinea-Conakry, because some say that the coup in Guinea-Conakry is hijacked, but I don't know to my knowledge. So Guinea-Conakry, and then we have Niger, these four countries from the ECOWAS state. Now, on the other hand, so ECOWAS is, it has 15 Western African countries. So 4 of them are out already and they have their coup and they have thrown the governments that are working with France and who refused to bring economic development to their own people. So they have changed them with a coup. And not all coup is bad, by the way. I'm not here to support the coup, but not all coup is bad. That I can say. Now, on the other hand, why I say ECOWAS is cracking is we have those who are pro, out of the 10 countries, who are pro military intervention in Niger, who have been very vocal and upfront about it. Of course, we have Tinubu as a rider. And he's the chairman of the ECOWAS. We have the Ivory Coast heads of state. And then we have Benin, we have Togo, we have Senegal, and we have Ghana. Okay, these are the ones who are up front. The rest of, now this makes them 6. The rest, like about 4 countries are, we don't know they didn't say anything, but as long as they did not oppose, they are kind of supporting the military intervention. But what I can say about Liberia, maybe you all have seen it, it's President George Weah tweeted, or somebody from his old tweet kind of resurfaced it, and where he says, unless and otherwise we change, those institutions who are amending their own constitution to stay in power, there will not be a permanent solution. So people are bringing that. I think it is an old tweet, but in any case, it shows us the stance of President George Weah in all this mess about ECOWAS. So he's against it for now, I think we can say. Against it means against of the military intervention. Now, why do I say that this camp Bola Tinubu heads of states, I wouldn't say even leaders, because leaders is for somebody who is really a leader. So these heads of states is these people who are in the name of defending democracy and sending military to defend democracy in Niger are the one who are abusing democracy, the one who turned themselves into authoritarian, the one who have a lot of protest from their own people in their own land. Now they're defending democracy in somebody. Just mind you, okay, the arrogance of it, the ignorance of it, the disrespect of it, as if we have a short memory, as if we don't do our research. Perhaps maybe that is the case, but we really, really need to come up and hang them in their own words and in their own action. Now I really want to talk about one by one. Yes, exactly. I read you, Shirley. The people, this is why I don't want to a leader have always people behind him. These ones are divorced from their own people, separated from their own people. They are just what's the scientific name of, or the will be political dynasties in the continent. They just want to stay in power. Now let's talk about them one by one. I have evidences why I call them hypocrisy, because charity, if they want to defend democracy, charity begins at home. Then they need to keep their home in order before go and defend democracy in somebody's territory. Okay. Now, the term democracy, by the way, that by itself is debatable. Do we need democracy? Is this democracy really brought us any peace, any, protest that our youth are dying in the street by protesting? It's because of in the name of democracy. Democracy without economic development, as the other day Kwame have been analyzing it for us here, I think a couple of days ago on our Thursday session. It's if democracy fails to bring economic development to the people, then democracy, as to use Kwame's term, democracy is not a religion. Even people are now rebelling against religion because it's failing to fulfill what they are promised to be fulfilled anyway. It's a very sensitive issue. I'm not gonna go into religion, but yeah, the word democracy is debatable. Okay, I want to share a slide with you now. Why I say they are hypocrisy. Yes, I know the Nigerian Senate have rejected. I have seen a lot of my, Nigerians are like great people doing great things, representing Africa globally, and they have said no. And this Tinubu is actually, he has a lot of, there's a lot of protest against him in his own country. Allow me just to share this slide here, and let me talk about this Camp Bola Tinubu heads of states, how hypocrites they are. Look at this. Let's start with Nigeria, okay? Nigeria, this is where they say, look, the people of Nigeria, we say no to European Union election observers reports because they wanted to bring Bola Tinubu, whether it is really a fair election or not, they don't care, they just approve it. And people were protesting on that. And by the way, when Bola Tinubu came to power here recently, right, a few months ago, there were 3 opposition parties that called for the cancellation of the election result. But regardless, he became a president. Now look at another protest in his country. Look how they call him. I don't want to repeat it, but I have to read it. I'm not sure if my slide is showing you really up close. They call him Ebola Tinubu. That's how I call them. These are Nigerians at home, okay? And if there is really a military that is able to defend democracy and fight and keep orders, why not fighting Boko Haram in Nigeria? Why not fighting a lot of crimes that are happening in Nigeria? Now you go and send military to defend democracy in somebody else's country, okay? Now, the second one is Ivory Coast, okay, who said they're going to send military to Niger if, of course, Bola Tinubu decides to take action. Alassane Ouattara is the president of Ivory Coast right now. He came also through a controversial election in his country. And right now, he is serving a third term, the famous third term in Africa. Usually the constitution says it's 2 terms, but they always manipulate and amend the constitution, and they stay for a third term in power. That's what he's doing. And they throw away, there was a very I forgot his name, very nationalist president of Ivory Coast, and they throw together with France, and they bring this man to power. When they kind of throw that government, actually the French military came with no permission, with no nothing, just flew with their jets. And we know what they did in Ivory Coast. So this is a man. And look at the opposition that he's facing in his own country. Stop au troisième mandat, à la 5 mandat terminé. These are, look, the slogans that they are showing. He's facing this opposition in his own country. But now what he wants to do in Niger, he wants to defend democracy in somebody else's country. That is Ivory Coast for you, okay? Let's see. Now, this one is in Benin, okay? This one is in Benin. This man, his name is President Patrice Talon. Patrice Talon, he comes from an entrepreneur background, and now he's a president. When he actually, Benin used to be, let me say a fact, Benin used to be one of those few countries in Africa who have a multi-party in their government system. But this man has turned Benin into an authoritarian country. When he came to power, this is what he promised to his people, okay? He would not to two, where most of African leaders, heads of states have 2 terms, but he said he would limit the presidential time or the office to 1 term, meaning just 5 years. But he himself have, of course, amended the constitution, and now he's serving his 2nd term since 2022 or 2021, if I'm not mistaken. And he has a lot of opposition. The opposition that you see here is in Benin, because, and also he has jailed opposition leaders, and he's accused for that, but he's denied. He's put, of course, as everybody does it, in human rights crimes, this and that. Now that is Benin for you, okay? And this one is the president of Togo, Faure Nyasingbe. Maybe my pronunciation could be wrong, but I'm sorry for that. So Faure Nyasingbe is actually, those political dynasties in Africa, when the president dies, the son take over, just like they're, in empire dynasty, they take power. But I think the science calls them political dynasties, okay? He took power from his father. He's not serving a 3rd term. Right now, he's serving in his country 4th term. Faure Nyasingbe is president of Togo since 2005, okay? And he has a lot of opposition in his countries, that the Togolese people are on the street opposing for him for staying in power. Since, I think, independence, 1960, Togo has only 4 presidents. This one is his father, Iyadema Nyasingbe, and now this one is the son, okay? So now he's a president. These are the people now, they want to defend democracy in Niger. Look how hypocrite they are, how disrespectful to us they are, how ignorant, arrogant they are, okay? Charity starts at home. Put your house in order first, and then you can talk about others. How can we believe that if they don't keep their home in order, now they are going to defend democracy in somebody else's country, in which actually the people that we have seen I am not in Niger, but we have seen people supporting the one who took power, the military, the coupists, okay? And I mean, the people of Niger are the one who have to decide the fate of Niger. They are their own master of their own destination, nobody else. Now, let us see another Bola Tinubu camp joiner who is, this is in Togo, all these protests that you see. The other one is Macky Sall, Senegal, also through his foreign minister, that he praised President Bola Tinubu and to take leadership, and they have the military to send immediately whenever action is taken. So Macky Sall, as we know, ever since he came power, there was an opposition leader that he threw in jail, and then recently, it's in our fresh memory that there have been a deadly protest on the streets of Dakar and other parts of Senegal. Because why? Because he seek to stay in power for a third term in Senegal. And people have been dying because of the protest, and then how the military applied force on them. And now he said, actually, he is not, he cancelled that idea, and he will not amend his constitution to stay in power. But kudos and thanks to those Senegalese youths who went on the street. Unfortunately, this is how most of our younger people dies. But yeah, so he said he will not seek a third term in office again. Let me just read in between. I don't want to really defocus from my presentation for today, but if there is anything that you are saying that I don't miss, okay, I'm gonna go through it as for now. As far as I'm audible to you, that's what matters, and I'm gonna read your comments. But thank you very much, really, for tuning again. Now, this is Macky Sall, okay? Look at the people in Senegal. This is how they have been protesting, and this is what they get from the military of Macky Sall. Now, what he wants to do, he wants to defend democracy in Niger, okay? How laughable is that, really? Look at this. These are Senegalese people in Europe protesting against his third term request, and also to release all these pictures that we are seeing is journalists and opposition leaders that are thrown into jail. Okay, these are the people. Now, as the six heads of states that joined the camp of Bola Tinubu, we have Ghana. Now, Ghana, as far as my information, my research is based, I haven't heard any Ghanaian official or Nana Akufo-Addo himself that they did not say upfront that they will send military. But how we know, it's indirectly. You know how those African countries with their previous colonizer keep a strong attachment. So the UK Prime Minister or Foreign Minister came out and said that when the coup in Niger happened, actually, I talked to the Bola Tinubu, President Bola Tinubu and President Nana Akufo-Addo, and we are supporting, UK is full behind ECOWAS's action and the actions that they are going to take, the ultimatums that they gave, the military intervention, and we have their full support. So that's how we know now Nana Akufo-Addo is in the camp of Bola Tinubu. Now let's analyze, let's see the back of President Nana Akufo-Addo have turned Ghana into an economic crisis that the country has not seen before, okay? The country has not seen this before. From a 130-something Ghanaian cedi billions of debt in his term, it has increased to 600 billion of Ghanaian cedi debt. This is for the next, I don't know how many generations that it's going to be there. And actually, he has also hinted he is going to seek a third term in office. And this has, there's also a lot of opposition, protest against this. And also, if you remember what Nana Akufo-Addo, he has increased the salary of his army because he feared a coup, and they want to manipulate, by increasing the salary of your armies, and you keep the power safe. Okay. And another commonality that they have, this Camp Bola Tinubu heads of states, is that most of them, because there is an opposition in their own country, they fear that the same coup d'etat could happen in their own country, and then they will be thrown in the same way, so that they want ECOWAS again to defend them. You see what I mean? So that's why most of them, they are doing it for themselves. It's not even for the people of Niger. Okay. Now, I think that was it. Yeah, these are the protesters against Akufo-Addo. As far as my slide is concerned, that was it. Okay, now full screen, better. Okay, let me just say a couple of things. ECOWAS, we have to know that in its constitution, there's nowhere it is written that ECOWAS has a mandate to go and intervene in the next ECOWAS member state. It doesn't say that. However, they have done it. They have done it in Liberia. They have done it, I think, in Benin. But it will not be met with the same thing if they do it in Niger. First of all, Niger has a better force. Secondly, Mali and Burkina Faso are standing together with Niger. So there was not so much credibility, but now ECOWAS is losing even the little credibility that it has. We used to think, including myself, that when things happen, we know how the African Union is so slow in taking action. So ECOWAS should used to be that regional organization that take action when something happens in their region. But we have seen for the much part of it how it is manipulated by France. Most of the Western African countries are, used to be French colonized, and it is the French military that lands first, actually, even without any permission from AU, ECOWAS. Maybe they asked it, and I don't know, but we don't see no statement opposing it, and the French military comes and do whatever they want. We have AFRICOM, also the US military, but they're not saying anything. So even that little credibility it has, ECOWAS, now it's losing it if they go and do intervene in Niger, which I don't think so. But if they dare to do it, that's it. For ECOWAS, I think it's the end of it. And the second thing I wanted to say, talking about hypocrisy, look at how the collective West is so hypocrite. When it is a coup that they want, what happens? They praise it. Let's go a little bit, historically. For example, the coup that happened in Chile, in Latin America, where Margaret Thatcher was a friend of the one who came through a coup. Let's talk about Venezuela, which it's a failed coup, but how, together with the US military, they wanted to bring that man. I forgot his name, but they wanted to throw away Maduro, which didn't happen, but they took the money. They put the country in sanctions and chaos, just like how they're punishing Cuba. Now, also, Ukraine in 2014, a coup happened, but because they support it, they praise it. They don't even care. You see, this is how they disrespect us. They don't even care. But when it is they don't want a coup that they don't want, they demonize it. And it's not about the people anymore. It's not about the population anymore. It's about what they want. Which heads of state that really bow for them and take orders from them and do what that person wants them to do. That's all they care. But now, when it's Niger, when it's Mali, when it's Burkina Faso, they're everywhere. Look at the media. Look at Sudan. I have people. I made a program 2 3 times, but I haven't continued. But I have people from the ground that have been calling me, and it's a forgotten war. Forgotten war. It's a forgotten war now. They don't want to, because they manipulate the media. We don't hear anything about Sudan, because there's something in Niger that they are cooking for us. So you see it in every media, even one of those in first spot. It's Indian media. Relatively, the way they start was actually bringing the other side of the story, but now you see them all screaming like CNN, like Al Jazeera, like BBC, all those Western media. So we need to ask question ourselves. Now, before I leave, I'm going to read the comments, but before I really want us to ask you in which side of history you are. Now, we have so much information, so much knowledge. Really, we know what's happening. We know how the system of the collective West is doing. But in all this, are we letting Niger to be like Libya, to be the next failed state, as they call it? What are we contributing? What are our 2 cents that we can throw? Because wherever we are, we can do something. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, or I don't know, morning. And that's it for us. Thank you. Bye bye.